Today I'm going to give you 8 reasons you should start investing for retirement in your 20s, if not earlier. Let's get started. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos on raising intentional children and living intentional lives. We publish a new video every Friday. It's hard to look at retirement statistics across generations because of the proportionality of the numbers and the statistics. Baby boomers born 1946 to 1964 have saved the most for retirement, followed by Generation X born 1965 to 1978, and then millennials born 1979 to 2000. If you go look up where generations start and end, you'll find all kinds of different numbers, so this is just an estimate. And people try to create more generations and they break it down even further, but I'm not about all of that. I just want to give you an idea and a perspective. You get the point, and the savings rates here do make sense because the older you are, the more you should have saved for retirement. There's a large range in the retirement savings from the beginning of a generation to the end of a generation, and honestly, we just don't know how much anyone's going to have saved until they get to retirement. In the early days of the baby boomers, we know that things like pensions were common, and now we know that pensions are about as common as winning the lottery.
$26 million jackpot. 15!
And then there's also Social Security, but I'm pretty sure most of us don't rely on that unless we're already getting it. And now I feel old because I find myself saying things like, kids these days don't want to save for retirement. It blows my mind. Yes, I say kids these days. I've officially accepted it. I'm old, so we can move on. The point is, a lot of young adults, 18, 20, 22 in that range, don't see the need to save for retirement. They think it's so far away and they want their money now, and they instant gratification and all that stuff, so they just don't see the point. It's becoming more and more common, especially with my financial coaching clients, to hear things like, what's the point of saving for retirement? I might not even live that long. So they hear they can't pull out the money in retirement accounts until they're 59 and a half, and they just think that's so far away. But if you take into account that we're actually living longer with every generation, it's kind of the opposite of how they should see it. So what's the point? Why invest for retirement, and why do it so young? Well, I've come up with 8 reasons why you should start investing early as possible, as soon as you start your first job actually. Number 1, starting younger is easier and cheaper. When you start investing for retirement in your early 20s, that will give the money more time to grow, and that also means that's less money you have to put into retirement. So here are some quick numbers on saving $1.7 million. That's kind of a generalized idea of how much the average person needs or wants to retire. And then we're going to use an 8% interest rate, which is also generalized, but pretty accurate and easy to get, almost conservative. A lot of people would call it conservative. So this is how much you would have to save to accumulate $1.7 million by retirement age. If you start at age 25 with an 8% rate of return, you would have to save $486.97 per month. So the annual salary needed if you save 10% of your income would be $58,436. The annual salary needed if you save 15% of your income would be $38,959. If you start at age 30 with an 8% rate of return, you'd have to save $741.10 per month. The annual salary needed if you save 10% of your income would be $88,932. The annual salary needed if you save 15% of your income would be $59,291. If you start at age 40 with an 8% rate of return, you'd need to save $1,787.54 per month. The annual salary needed if you save 10% of your income would be $214,505. The annual salary needed if you save 15% of your income would be $143,011. It may seem like common sense to start investing early on, but hopefully those numbers actually put it into perspective to show you how important it is. And the reason it's so important is because of number 2. Compound interest does all the work. It doesn't take much if you start early and you save every month to create a huge retirement. The way compound interest grows your retirement money is a phenomenon. If nothing else, it's just fun to watch. I know we just looked at numbers in the last point, and it's interesting to see what compound interest can do, but here are some more numbers. Let's look at the difference in saving $200 a month starting at age 20 and saving $200 a month starting at age 40. And we'll see how much money you'll have when you're 60. $200 a month, again with an 8% interest rate, from age 20 growing until age 60, is $641,474.50. If you save $200 a month with the same 8% interest rate starting at age 40, growing until age 60, you would have $118,615.01. Funny thing is, when you start at 20, you only put in $48,000 more over the 20 years you invest before the 40-year-old started. Yet at age 60, you have over $550,000 more. Why? Because compound interest. After a few months, you won't even notice the $200 coming out of your account, but you will notice the $500,000 you have when you retire. And because you started younger, this leads to number 3. You can take more risks. It's an old adage that you can take more risk in investing when you start younger, and it's true. It's 100% true. You have the time to recover if you mess up. You can try different paths and see what works for you. You can even fail at a few of those and get back on the horse and try again. You have time for all of that. You can try investing in individual stocks, or you can try your hand at real estate, or whichever path you want to go. Just a quick note on individual stocks, it's been proven that pretty much nobody can pick winning stocks. But if you're young, you can try it and you can see for yourself that that's true. Or you may be the next rock star stock picker. Stock star. Whether you're successful with any of it, it's better to learn that in your 20s than in your 40s. Number 4, you don't know what will happen. On the flip side of taking risks, you just simply don't know what's going to happen when you get older. God forbid some accident or disease come your way, but if it does happen, you'll be prepared for things like that. You don't want your children paying for your retirement simply because you refuse to start early on with investing for your own retirement. There's actually a 1 in 10 chance that you will be disabled by age 64. And by 65, just 1 year later, there's a 1 in 3 chance. Don't take that chance. Even if you don't have a family now, prepare for when you do. It could cost your family or your children hundreds of thousands of dollars to take care of you if you didn't prepare financially early on. That's hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your family's pocket because you didn't plan ahead. For the next point, do you like free money? Because that's another incentive to start investing early. Number 5, you may get free money. If your employer offers a match on your retirement account, that's a 100% return on that money. Whether they match up to 5% or 10%, or I've actually seen companies that match up to 100% of what you put in your retirement account, that's a 100% return on top of whatever you're getting in your investment returns. So if you don't do anything else for retirement, at least invest enough to get that match. I love when the trash truck comes right whenever I start recording a video. It's like they know. Just need to be thankful for that, and thankful for the trash truck that's still here 10 minutes after they turned on our road. The next point takes us back to the beginning of the video. Number 6, you may live longer than expected. Yes, as the technology and the medical industry is continuously advancing, we are living longer than we used to live, which means we have to prepare to live longer financially. You don't want to outlive your money. So while the idea is to save enough for retirement through investing that you and your family will be taken care of for however many years out, make sure that however many years out is actually enough and it's actually a realistic figure. You can't plan until you're 60. What if you live until you're 80 or 90? A lot of people project out to age 70, but a lot of people live much longer than age 70. If you live until you're 90, that's 20 years longer than you planned for. 20 more years of money that you need. And sure, women live longer than men. I know that that's a common fact. Actually, there's a lot of YouTube videos that can probably show you why women live longer than men. If you just look up some fail videos, mostly men in those videos.
He's alright. He's okay.
But a lot of the average ages are into the 80s. And that's average, so that's taken into account the really young deaths and the accidents and things like that. So it could very well be much past 80. But we shouldn't just think about it as you don't want to outlive your money. While that's true, that shouldn't be the only goal. It should be more like number 7, you want to leave a legacy. Proverbs says, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. How important is it to you to leave a legacy? To leave enough money where your kids feel like they can do anything, but as Warren Buffett says, not so much that they feel like they don't have to do anything. Leaving a legacy is all about preparation. And if you start preparing for that legacy when you're in your 20s, it's going to happen by default. Could you imagine living an inspired and fulfilled life and then building and accumulating enough wealth to where you can leave that to your children? Your kids would have have this boost that you didn't have. And number 8, if nothing else, it's a fallback plan. If you don't care about any of the other 7 reasons, if you don't care to leave a legacy and you don't care like about outliving your money and all of the other points, if you don't care about any of that, this is at least a fallback plan. You have that nest egg, you have that wealth, that money sitting there. So why not save something? Even if it's only $50 a month, saving something is going to give you a decent amount of money in retirement, even if you think I'm not going to live that long, or I don't need to worry about retirement, or I don't want to leave anything to my kids, I want them to do it all on their own so that they can learn. That's fine, but at least you have something. And that's the point of starting young, is it just doesn't take very much money to have a lot in retirement. And remember, retirement may not mean what you think it means, or at least it doesn't have to.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
It's a common misconception that retirement means you completely stop working and stop doing anything and you're basically waiting to die. It doesn't mean any of that. It means financial freedom. That's what retirement is. When you're to the point of financial freedom where you can do whatever you want and you're not dependent on a job that you may not like. So whether you're 40 or whether you're 70, you can do what you want without having to worry about the financial aspect of it, whether that means traveling or whether that means just living and doing your project, your passion, whatever. You can do what you want. It's financial freedom. That's what retirement is. And honestly, a lot of people started the greatest projects of their life when they were in retirement. They waited until retirement, or at least it didn't happen for them until retirement. And I think that's pretty interesting. Colonel Sanders started KFC in retirement when he received his first Social Security check at age 65. Noah Webster completed his first American English dictionary at age 66. Ronald Reagan didn't get into politics until he was 55. Ray Kroc started his model of McDonald's at age 52. And Sam Walton was nearing 50 when he opened his first Walmart. All of these things happened in the retirement years. So retirement doesn't have to mean sitting on the front porch all day, sipping sweet tea and going to bed with the sun. The important thing and the takeaway is just to start investing now. As young as you are, even if you feel like you're late to the game, start investing now and your retirement is going to come naturally. Whether you have to invest a little bit more if you're older, or if you don't have to invest very much at all. Calculate the numbers, run it all, and see what you're actually going to have. There are compound interest calculators out there. You can see if you're 20 years old, if you invest $100 a month and get an average return of 8% or 9%, what are you going to have when you're 40, 50, 60? Please don't forget to subscribe for more videos on money, minimalism, and our travel journey around the world. If you're interested in raising intentional children, check out my new book, Intentional Children. It not only teaches you how to be intentional with your kids, but it talks about a lot of things that aren't taught in schools that our kids need to know. That's all for today. I will see you next week.